Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Spiritual Gangstas. My name is Johnny, and here guys we help provide solutions to your spiritual awakening. So what brings me on here today guys, I want to share my story, man. My story of what led to my spiritual awakening, man, and what actually led to the dark night of the soul and how I overcame it. And hopefully you can take something from my journey and you can apply it to yours. And that's what I'm trying to achieve today guys. Just quickly, my name is Johnny. I was born and raised here in Boyle Heights, born and raised in the projects. I do have a 12-year-old son. Love him dearly, man. He's actually what motivates me and helps me become my own best version, because I'm gonna be able to pass that along to him. Because just to start off with generational trauma, guys, because a lot of us have that in us that we don't resolve, and we take that out on our kids. We take that out on our loved ones, and we pass that right on to them. So with that said, that's where I come from. I come from a long line of generational trauma. I come from a long line of narcissism, a long line of codependency. Reminds me of when I get a haircut a couple of days ago. I was talking to the young lady next to me. I was expressing myself how, words cast spells, and she asked me if I was a counselor of some sort. And I go, no, I'm not a counselor. I go, but thank you, it's flattery. And she goes, how about human behavior? I go, no, not at all. She goes, mental health? I go, ma'am, I am mental health. She started laughing, but with that said, man, I come from a line of mental health, and it stops with me. I made the decision to stop. This is where it's going to stop. I'm the game changer, and so are you. And if I can do it, anybody can. Like I'll say, man, my mom, if I want to say, she's more of a borderline, and just like narcissists raise other narcissists, I guess borderlines raise other little borderlines. So I don't consider myself, I was never diagnosed as a borderline, but I see a lot of the characteristics and traits within me that existed. The difference is that I don't react anymore, I respond. I try to see things from a different perspective, from the observer point of view, and not to judge, and act accordingly. Of course, man, we all make mistakes. You're gonna be the first one reacting probably. But of course, with time, man, and like anything, you're gonna get better, because practice makes improvement. And I've been on this spiritual journey, man, for about 3 years now, man, going on 4. It was in 2020, man, I call the Great Awakening, the Great Awakening of 2020, which reminds me of many were called, but few were chosen, because a lot of us are called. Your soul is calling you. You're being redirected, because you need to shed the old self. You need to reprogram the subconscious mind and start living from a different perspective. And by the way, you don't have to do anything. This is only if you're trying to become your best version, or at least trying to operate from not the victim mentality that you grew up with, that you were programmed with. So yeah, man, so it's 2020. I felt like I had to call. And this is right before the COVID hit. Like right before the COVID, I was already going through turmoil, man. I was already going through the dark night of the soul, probably maybe 6 months prior to that of the narcissist, man. I didn't know I was dealing with a covert narcissist. So with that said, I'm kind of consider myself an expert when it comes to narcissism or the covert narcissist or relationships, just because, I have a PhD by experience, man. So if you're dealing with one, or if you're in it and you're able to come out of it unscathed, meaning like they left you alone, then you're a winner, man. You're a winner already. Why? Because that's where your journey's gonna start. That's gonna be the hard part, not the dark night of the soul. The hard part is adjusting to be your best version, adjusting this new way of being. That's the hard part. Or should I say, it's as hard as we wanna make it. That's one thing that I realized, it's as hard as you want to make it. And best believe I made it pretty hard on myself as I awoken. Because as I discovered that this person I was with, me being in this toxic cycle of 18 years, by the way, I was with this person for 18 years. But this is the question that I have, was that my twin flame? Because as they say, your twin flame helps you awaken. And I think that was one of the hardest things I had to learn, is like, you know what? That's not my twin flame. That was just a narcissist in your life, there to wake you up. That is the catalyst to your growth. That's gonna help you evolve. That's gonna catapult you up if you decide. if you want to make the right choices, if you start making your right adjustments now. And that's what I mean. It's as hard as you want to make it, because if you're still chasing, if you're still looking for them, if you're still worried about what they're doing, then you're not going to allow the new you to come on. You're not going to allow the new version of yourself to come online. So you have to let go of the old. You have to let the old die. And the way you need to do that is you need to reprogram your subconscious mind. You have to let the ego die. You have to separate. Not just from other people, but from yourself, from the old version of you. So that was one of my life lessons that I had to understand. And I can actually see that, because before I was very angry. I was very hurt. I was very upset. And what I came to the realization, when you're angry or mad at somebody else, it's like drinking poison, hoping they die. That's how angry I was. I was upset, because I'm like, why didn't I have a good life? Why didn't I? Like, as the more questions I ask, those are disempowering questions, by the way, the more life was happening to me, not for me. And it took that perspective for me to shift. Things are happening for me, not to me. This is to help me and guide me to better me, not to destroy me. And once I started to make that shift, that shift in consciousness, that rebirth, because that's what being reborn is to actually see yourself from a higher level of perspective, from a higher way of being, and see yourself as you were before, without judgment. So yeah, guys, so anyways, I don't even know where I left off at. What's time, guys? So many are called and few are chosen, in the sense of, are you gonna do the inner work? Are you gonna get to know yourself? Are you gonna actually take the time to do the shadow work, to heal your inner child? Because that's the biggest thing, man, that I learned is there's different types of narcissists. There's different type of narcissism. You know what I mean? We're all slightly narcissistic. It just depends. It's all on a spectrum, you know. And that's the thing, is like, me being with this other person, we were just a reflection of each other. And the difference is, I was able to take accountability for my actions, unlike them. Once shit hit the fan, once you start to confront these people, once you start to bring out their stuff, they're just gonna shift it back onto you, and everything is your fault. And you being a people pleaser, you being somebody who's highly agreeable, you're gonna agree to it just to avoid conflict, just to be with that person. So for me, that's what it took. You know, it took for me to actually stay still. So as I lost my job, I was losing my grandmother. The narcissists in my life seen that happening. So what they started to do was find somebody else. And at that time, because you're being discarded now, you're being left by them. And when I was being left by my narcissist, I guess you can say, it triggered a lot of my own wounds. It triggered a lot of my abandonment issues. It triggered a lot of my own inner child wounds that I had unhealed. So as they left, I was left alone. I was left by myself. And it was pain, man, a lot of hurt. You know, I guess you want to call it, I noticed they call that a dark night of the soul, but I also noticed it as narcissistic mortification of my own. I went through my own dark night of the soul. I lost my own self because I thought I was something that I wasn't. I was living a false lie. I was living a lie, literally living a lie. You know, not just of my own facade, but the facade that the narcissist paints for you. They're painting an illusion. And as you break out of that illusion, that's what the whole concept of the matrix comes out of. And that's what the whole concept as you walk around as a soulless avatar. Because you're just in the toxic cycles and those toxic loops and unconscious. You're just existing, not even living. And the biggest thing for me, guys, once I was done chasing, done looking for answers, because that's one of the things that the covert narcissist does, is they like to leave you without closure. They leave you full of questions that you want answers, because you're seeking approval. You're seeking their validation. Because now you're unempowered. You're unempowered. You gave your power away. Since you didn't know yourself, they had to create that for you. They created that illusion of who you thought you were. So as they leave, they're taking a part of you, or at least who you thought you were. They are taking your traits. They are taking your personality because they don't have any. They're the soulless avatar. So once they leave, you're left in turmoil. You're left grieving. You're left like, what the fuck just happened? Because you're discovering what they're doing behind your back. You know, I'll give you the example, like mine, as I started to uncover like what is really happening, because I was already losing my job. My grandma was passing, so I took a leave of absence, and I was at home, you know, sad, depressed, and I started to notice things about my covert narc that she was doing that I used to do. My old self, the old player of me, the old person that would chase women and think. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference between you and the narcissist, because you're gonna wake up from this dark night of the soul as, am I the narcissist? Am I the one? And the truth is, you're not. Because you're asking the right questions. You're seeking the truth. You are a truth seeker. That's the difference. Now, you have these narcissistic fleas. You did inherit their traits as well, because you've been with them for so long. And the longer you're with them, the harder it is to break this spell that they have in you, because it's an infection. And not just an infection, but it's also bringing up your own wounds, your own trauma that you need to heal. That's the purpose of them. That's the purpose of the narcissist, is to wake you the fuck up. Now, how long do you want to suffer? How long are you going to go through this stuff? And that's what I mean. It's up to you to start making these choices, the right ones, and start living your best life. And the best revenge for the narcissist is being your best version. The best revenge against the narcissist is being your best version. Because once they see you doing that, because they attach themselves to you. So if you want to learn about narcissism, if you want to understand that, I can do a whole fucking narc week if you like, you know, kind of like Shark Week. I could do narc week, man. You know, and I can teach you, and I teach you this stuff, or show you this stuff, not to use it against them and fight them and destroy them and, oh my God, I am a narc destroyer. Dude, no. The point of this is to recognize them, see them, because this is in you as well, remember. And that's why the deeper and the more you understand yourself, you're going to be able to see them and understand them. And that is what makes you so fucking powerful. It's because you have that darkness in you. But the difference is you transmuted that darkness. You are a fucking alchemist, a transmuter of darkness. And that is the point of your incarnation here, is to see that, to transmute that, to bring the darkness to light. Recording will be stopped, so with that said, man, I'm gonna stop here because my memory is really real low on my phone. And but that is how triggered my awakening, man, was the narcissist. That is how set me in the direction of what I'm at now. So if anything, if you are going through any of the turmoil, like I said before, reach out to me on Instagram, email me, spiritualgangster44. But I am gonna ask to talk to you, brother or sister, because that's the only way I can guide you and help you. But at the end of it, you're the only one who's going to make this move and make this happen for yourself. So like I said, man, welcome to the channel, Spiritual Gangstas. And I'm going to touch a little bit more on this story of mine here. So I guess we'll make this a part 1. So with that said, man, much love, dude.